me, but now you can. Hopefully, let me know you can hear me now because I remembered to press a button. This is why I have wonderful people there. Let me know you can hear me, and I'll do my whole intro spiel again so that you know. See, it's first live or it's gone wrong. First live. Okay, good. Good. Woohoo, volume. Whew. Oh, at least one of these had to go like this. Anyway, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Jonathan. I am a simplicity specialist. I aim to make businesses as easy as possible so that people can focus on the things that they love doing most of all and not the things that they don't. And today we're talking about crowdsourced productivity. Now, I haven't heard this name being used before, but I like it, so I thought I'd go with it and talk a little bit about it. So what do I mean by crowdsourced productivity? Well, in Facebook groups, often you hear the questions and people say, what do you do to help you do X? This, I'm saying productivity specifically because, of course, this is what I talk about, but we're also going to extend it to tech as well. What apps do you use to help you do X, Y, and Z? What apps do you use so you can do this or that or etc., etc.? Well, the problem with asking the crowd is you will never get a personal response. You will very rarely get a response that works best for you. You'll just get a ton of possible ideas. And often people go, oh, yeah, no, I'll go check that out. And normally the first thing that people see, often the first comment that says, try this app, try this tool, it's really helped me do this. Often people just go, cool, yeah, no, I'll do that. And they look at it, they think it's perfect, they think it's amazing, they think it's wonderful because they're in that honeymoon period of using that app or using that productivity tip or using that productivity idea. And then as the dust starts to settle and they realize, this isn't quite as good as I'd hoped it is, you become confused and wondering, hang on a minute, am I actually being, is this helping me? Am I just not able to be productive? Am I just not meant to be productive? I'm just not a productive person. I just get really distracted really easy. And we kind of retreat inside ourselves instead of thinking, I actually can do this. I actually can be productive. And often it loses a lot of nuance when people choose apps. If you've seen the previous one, a couple of thingies back ago, a couple of days ago, I was talking about kind of how finding the right apps for you is really important and really personal. Well, that's exactly the same here. Productivity tips and hacks and crowdsourcing this and finding that is all about finding what is personally good for you, tools that are good for you. So the next time you kind of see the Facebook profiles and the Facebook posts and the Facebook this and the Facebook that, the thingy this and the thingy that, think about what you actually need. And think about what you can do that you need in your apps and things like that. So some of the common questions that I hear is how do people like to, do tasks? How do people like to track tasks? Where do you use your tasks? What do you use for tasks? Well, my question is, what do you need? Do you need something that's really hyper-focused on just tasks? Or are you really talking about projects, which are far, far bigger? Projects are far, far, far bigger. Projects are more kind of multiple tasks that link to the same outcome, or they are like completing this. If you're looking for a task manager, then often you'll get a lot of really good advice. But the thing is, often people want a project manager and a task manager. And Danny and I were talking about this not on a stream or anything, but just having a discussion about how projects and tasks are often lumped together when really they're very different. Tasks are kind of single focus, single use, and you've got to figure out what works best for you. And exactly, and obviously, don't be a Danny. That is like advice for everybody. Don't be a Danny and try and have them all. That's very true. Very, very true. No, Notionaire. Thank you. And yeah, it's all about trying to find what works for you. And what happens with crowdsourced productivity and trying to be productive is you look at all these apps that are potentially really cool and look nice, and you go, I quite like that one single feature of that app. but then you start to use it and you deal with really weird, odd features. For example, ClickUp for me. I loved recurring tasks in ClickUp, and I liked the fact that it was kind of a bridge between ClickUp and Notion. It had a little bit more boxiness, but it gave me recurring tasks, which was a function I needed. But after a while, I started to realize how much I disliked the other features of ClickUp, how I found the other features of ClickUp to be sticky and uncomfortable and things I didn't really like. And so I ended up thinking, well, what do I actually need? What do I actually want? What do I want from an app? What do I want from a tool? What do I want from a project manager? What do I want from a task manager? What do I want and what do I need? And it was then I started thinking more and more about it, and I came to my decision, which I am not going to reveal today because that is for another live. Haha, keeping you all in suspense. And also because most of the people here are incredibly smart, but if you look at the app and go, oh, this is an app that I like, and you may try it out, you may like it, you may not. And that's the thing, apps are very subjective and personal. So crowdsourcing your apps is not a good idea. Crowdsourcing your tools, crowdsourcing what you should be doing, crowdsourcing this, crowdsourcing that. And it also brings me on to the tips, tricks, and hacks. We all have a good tip. We all have a good tip, and we all have a good trick, and hacks are fun and nice. But the problem is they often are, really short-term things that don't really account for very much in the long term, and are just, they're not sustainable. Hacks, tips, tricks, same with things like going viral on social media. You can do that, but being able to keep up with it is very, very difficult. I'm currently doing a 5-day challenge. Well, how many days did we say it was going to be, Rebecca? I don't actually remember. I think it was a week-long challenge where I'm going to go live every single day. This is wonderful in the short term, but could I go live every single day? Could I go, wow, Danny's being helpful. I'm actually going to bring up one of his comments because it's actually helpful. Here is a beautiful tip for you. Ignore them. Absolutely. Wow. Danny Hatcher, you're being valuable today and helpful. Well done. Well done. I now need the shortcut button where I can do a round of applause for you. Well done. And that's enough of you. Ha 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 ha. So it's all about the tips and tricks and hacks, and it's all talking about those. And often they don't help. They may give you a boost of momentum and get you started on the road to whatever you want to class as productive, but they are just a trick. Eventually, those tricks will die down, and eventually you'll no longer want to do them. So watch out for when you're crowdsourcing your productivity tips, your tricks, your hacks. For all you know, that person that's in that kind of bubble of tips and tricks, for example, going live every single day, that's what we're currently doing now, myself and Rebecca, going live every single day. This is great. This is great. I'm building momentum of going live every single day to get me past that mind thing of starting, because often that's the biggest productivity issue that there is. It's getting started. All we need to do with a task or a project, when we see that project, it triggers us to get started. And the smaller the task, the easier it is to get started. And so any tip or trick that can help you get started is beautiful in the short term, but don't rely upon them. Same thing with getting up at 5 a.m. Here's another common, if you don't get up at 5 a.m., you're going to be eaten for breakfast because animals who sleep in get eaten for breakfast. I saw that on Twitter recently and I just shook my head. For one, wait till you have children and you'll change your tune very, very quickly. And also, we're also not thinking about where you are in your kind of journey to being productive. If you can get up at 5 a.m. every morning and you're a morning person, fantastic. But what time are you going to bed? What time are you going to bed? If you're trying to burn the midnight oil and then waking up at 5 a.m. every morning, going for a swift jog or jumping in a cold shower and all that stuff, I have tried a cold shower before, a little bit of oversharing, but tough. You're going to enjoy it. I've had a cold shower before. I ended up nearly having an asthma attack. Think about your health as well. Will it work? Yes, cool. It got my blood boiling, but it also got me choking and being unable to breathe for a good 5 minutes. Hacks, tips, tricks are great as a Twitter post or a Facebook live. But in real life, you've got to think about what really will help you and sustain you. And as a nerdy notionist said, short term going live every day is great. Yeah, this is wonderful. I'm loving every single day I get to go live. And I'm in an agreement with Rebecca to go live every single day. But I could not do this every single day. I would burn out very quickly because I have a bundle of energy when I'm online. I'm very hyper, very bouncy, very moving around. This is not my camera. This is me really moving around with my hands everywhere. As always, this live is presented to you by my hands. I think that was Yusuf or someone said yesterday. I loved that. It's brilliant. Absolutely loved it. But finding your rhythm is really important. So for Notion Goth, it looks like it's kind of an 8 p.m. time for sleeping for you. Me, I kind of burn the end of the day. I'm terrible. I kind of go to 8, 9, 10, 11. It depends on how hyper I am, but I follow my body. I follow what I actually want and need. I follow what my body needs instead of just relying on some, guy on Twitter telling me what to do, or a guy in a Facebook group saying that this really helped them get productive, or whatever it might be. So whenever you're looking up and trying to find, your tips of what you should do, tell me this, tell me that, think about what it is you want, what the result will mean. Think forward, not just from the big hump of getting you started. If all you need, and you're really struggling right now, all you want to do is just get started, yes, that's fine. But when it comes to actually sustaining it, think about the things that motivate you when you're coming on here. I love coming on these calls, not just because I'm doing what I say I do, but I love talking to the people here right now and reading the comments of people who have missed it later. Just make sure to leave a description of what crowdsourced productivity things that you've dealt with. I love talking to people, and I love sharing ideas and thinking and getting other opinions from other people. But it doesn't mean I have to listen to them. It's all about figuring out what works for you. For example, the Notion Goth sleeps at 8 p.m. However, for her, I think it's her. Sorry, Notion Goth, if I got it incorrect. Gets up at 5 a.m. and heads to the gym. That is good for the Notion Goth. Love it. It's beautiful. Me, not a chance. Absolutely no hope at all. She, her. Thank you very much. Yeah. The Notion Goth does that, and I would have absolutely no hope in getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning when I don't go to bed until often midnight 1, because I'm too busy doing, yeah, very much. And also no kids. Believe me, my little boy, if he hears me breathe awake, he is also awake. Instantly awake. My little boy instantly wakes up when I wake up. And so it's important for us to find what really works for us. The 5 a.m. wake up works for some, but if you have kids, it becomes interesting. And then we now have a nerdy notion here as well. Yes, I am a night owl as well. For me, what works is a good old wake up at 9 a.m., maybe 8 if I'm feeling it. 8, 9 a.m. That's when the kids wake up. That's when my wife wakes up. That's when the family are up. And it is wonderful. We all wake up together and it's all peaceful and quiet and no one is shouting, screaming, or yelling whatsoever. That was a sarcastic sip of my tea. And so that works for me. I like working later and enjoying my mornings and taking it slow. I normally don't get in until 10 a.m., but you look at the productivity tips, that's terrible. Same thing with things like video games and stuff like that. People say don't play video games, you become addicted, and then you'll never be able to do anything again, and you'll be always forever unproductive. Well, Yeah, if you spend all of your time playing video games, sure. But then again, if you spend all your time meditating, you are also unproductive. But that's another common thing that people say for you to do first thing in the morning with a morning routine. Meditate. It's about how much of it you do. And the same thing with games. I enjoy playing games. It's my downtime. It's my relaxation. It's the thing I enjoy doing when I just want to take some time and enjoy myself and relax and finish for the day. So I'd love to hear kind of some of the common crowdsourced productivity myths that you've heard of or you've seen on the internet, and I'd love to hear some of them, and then we can talk about them. Or if you're all fed up of hearing me today, as we're on 17 minutes already, yes, I'm counting as always, we can leave it there. I'm going to take a sip of tea, pausing for the delay. What are some of the myths that you've seen on the internet? And I'd love to hear them, and we can have a nice rant about them. Some of you may be sat here thinking, watching this on the replay, or sat here thinking, whoa, duh. This is all obvious. Yes, it is. But if it was so obvious, everybody would be doing it. We all like to complicate things in our head. Oh, if I just have one more system, if I just have one more this, or if I just had one more this, I just want to know and have the confidence to actually do what you need for you. And often when people crowdsource the productivity, you have to have a newsletter. Yes, but the Notion Goth, you really must have a newsletter, because obviously everybody likes reading. Everybody likes inbox things and things in your email and stuff. Obviously, you have to have a newsletter. Nope, you don't. Especially if it doesn't work for you. For some people, newsletters are just so forced and so desperate to have that. Now, I have a newsletter because I like writing and I like doing things like that. And yeah, fact, not everything you see or read on the net is true. We all know this deep down, but when we're in that state of lacking of confidence or feeling a little bit uncomfortable, or just like, oh, I'm about to push myself to do something, what are your favorite tips and tricks to help you get through this? Remember, they are just tips and tricks, and you've got to really check in with yourself. I'm going woo here, I'm going a little bit woo here. Sorry for people who don't like the woo, but woohoo. Check in with yourself and figure out whether that's something you actually want. It will actually help you. It'll actually push you and drive you to do it. Anyway, that's it for me today. It's been lovely spending a little bit of time with you all. I'm going to have another sip of tea because I'm thirsty. Oh, I'm not done yet. This is too good. Knowing the right platform to have a newsletter on is causing me stickiness at the moment. Decided I'm not going to bother. I just have a newsletter blog post. Yeah, that's kind of what I've done. This is going to be a bit nerdy now. So people, if you're not interested in nerdy stuff, I actually have a Ghost blog. So it's an app called Ghost. And once again, this is not a productivity hack. This is exactly what I've done. Take what you want and don't do it, and blah, 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 blah. You can actually set that up with a tool like ConvertKit or MailerLite, who have RSS feeds. And you can actually just write a blog post and then send that blog post out to your people, and then never touch your newsletter kind of thing again. If you enjoy blogging, you can just focus on blogging and then use your newsletter as an RSS feed. And literally you can set the whole post. This is in ConvertKit. I'm nerding so highly. Take care of everybody. Yeah, fantastic. You actually subscribe to my proper newsletter as well. Exactly. And the Ghost is a really good platform. I really like it. I know that Rebecca's going to moan at me in a minute because that one that I not using. Yeah. It is I love it. Ignoring what this rant was all about. Just have to check this out. Yeah. And I really enjoy Ghost as a platform where I can just focus on writing, because it's a beautiful interface where I don't have to mess around, and then it will automatically send it out to my newsletter list. Newsletter list. I'll be very happy, Notion Goth, to show you how I do it and all that stuff elsewhere. It's not a good place to do it on the techie platform that this is. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I think you're in the Notion Nerds Discord, Notion Goth. I'm almost certain you are. So just feel free to send me a message there, and I will. I can show you how I do it, and you can do it too with Can Do. Does anyone remember that? No, probably not. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I don't know, I'm waving like this. I always wave like this. Hey. Hey. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this lovely live, which has been a little bit longer than usual. See? It's exciting. But I will speak to you guys soon. Have fun. I'll probably see you tomorrow because I've got another live tomorrow. What am I going to talk about? Don't know. Let me know in the comments below because, you know, this is something you got to do. Got to get interaction in your chats. Danny, you proud of me yet? No. What would you like to hear me talk and rant about yet? I know I've got one more topic to talk about. I'm looking forward to that one. But let me know. You can let me know on Twitter. You can let me know Twitter at NotionBiz, NotionBiz. Ignore Mrs. Notion. That's a whole nother story for another day. Oh dear. Anyway, on Twitter, link will be in the description of the YouTube video or the comments of this one so that you can actually see it. And you can also reply to me on YouTube if you're there, because most of you are on YouTube, because I can see that. Or in the Simplicity Specialist, Agents of Simplicity Facebook group. And let me know what you want to hear me rant about next. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.